All-Star Weekend is over. Thank God. Back to the real stuff.
Over.
Back to the real NBA stuff. We are back. I'm Jacob with my boy PJ. We are the Hoopersole podcast.
What up?
PJ, go ahead. What you got for the people today, man?
So today I'm showing out a special shoe of mine that made me become a sneakerhead and like starting. Actually, did it make me become a sneakerhead? I'm thinking about it now. It's one of the reasons why it made me become a sneakerhead. But I saw the first time I saw Will Smith was on Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and I'm
Will
repping Bel
Smith.
Air today.
Okay. I see it.
Yeah, and so I saw a shoe that he wore that made him look pretty fly. But he wears a lot of shoes on that show. But it became one of my favorite shoes of all time, and it has to be these Great Fives.
Ooh.
And I was like, bro, I want to become like Will, but I have to be myself. Well, at the same time, I gotta cop the fives, and I had to cop a jersey too. So I was it really inspired me to become a sneakerhead. The way he wore so many sneakers on the show, I had to cop at least a couple of his shoes. You know. So yeah, just today we got the Great Fives for Bel Air.
That's what's up, brother. I never heard someone say I want to be like Will before, but hey, to each their own. Do what you do,
Hey,
bro.
Joyner Lucas, he made a song about Will.
Join. Oh my god, I forgot about Joyner Lucas. All right, so that was our shoe talk. Unfortunately, there's no new Kai Soto news at this current time. He's still doing his
Man,
thing. Uh, we're gonna keep checking in on him. Hopefully, he gets some good news. But what we do have today, and this probably gonna be one of my favorite recurring episodes. We keep the podcast going. We got playoff
sir.
predictions. We got playoff predictions, man. So we're gonna do a few things today. We got a few tier lists. We're gonna get into. BJ and I made some predictions. Made
My
some of our
predictions.
own tier lists in our own different ways. So BJ, why don't you get it popping, man? Tell me what you got for me, because we both prepared some different stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna send you two different ones
Oh
that I
Lord.
had sent
Okay,
you.
hold on. Let me see this.
So
So
you could
so
pop up
okay. So which one you want to talk about first, man?
the one template you.
What,
With the template you sent me first? I had before and after, and you sent me was after. So we were on the same page.
all right. Why don't we do the one that you did on your own first? All right. So I got one of your tier lists. I'm gonna go ahead and switch scenes here. Let the people see it. I was kind of hold on. Let me move a little bit. Let me move a little bit. All right. So PG, you got it pulled up on your own.
Yeah, I got it pulled up on my
All
own.
right. So where you wanna? I assume we start at the bottom. Well, what you got to
We
say about the
started at the
bottom here?
bottom. Well,
You don't got to
the
explain.
bottom
No,
is
we
going to
know no.
Cancun.
We know
Going
no.
on vacation early,
Right. Cancun.
but playing. I had when I had set it up. The plane was from the 7 to 10 seed for each conferences, or they're all together. But I had to like figure out who's gonna make it and who's not going to make it, and it was really hard for me to pick who's gonna really make it. Like I really wanted the Warriors to be in the first round.
Okay.
I wanted the Kings to be in the first round, but it's just like there's so many good teams on the West, and there's so many good teams that I know that could make it up. But for the East side, I felt like it was obvious. I'm a big fan of the Bulls, and I still look at their roster and I still check out their games. But right now, they're really looking not as good. Like I said, 2021 was their peak. Lonzo, a guy who couldn't distribute to their best guys on the court. Right now, it's just a scoring team, not really too much defensive. It's just Alex Caruso that's being defensive and Andre Drummond. But in a playoff game, playing game, I don't think they're gonna make it. The Magic, they're young and they're gonna have to play. I think the Hawks. I need to hold on. Let me bring up the standings because I forgot how it looked
Now I
like.
I just want to confirm. So So since you have the Bulls, Magic, Kings, and Warriors in play-in, does that mean those teams lost in the play-in?
Those are exit. Yeah, they lost.
So that also means in the first round of the East, you had the Cavs, Bucks, and Knicks losing. Is that what that means?
So here, look. Okay, I brought up the standings, and I okay. The Heat plays the Magic. The Magic loses, and they have to play the Hawks. And the Hawks is good in the playoffs. They're known to
Okay.
be good in the playoffs, but they always land in the play-in. So they beat the
Okay.
Magic, then Magic lose all the way.
Okay.
The Bulls lose. We already talked about that. So the first teams that are going is so it's Celtics, Hawks, Cavs, Heat, Bucks, Pacers, and then Knicks, Sixers.
Okay.
And I didn't want to put the Bucks losing the first round, but it's just that Pacers versus Bucks rivalry that's going around in the NBA.
No, for sure.
And I think they're 3-1 right now in the regular season. And
I
the
don't know.
Pacers know how to win when Halliburton's healthy. Healthy.
All right, now I know this was your first draft, so we we don't have to spend too much time on it, but I do
Okay,
have to
I'm
add.
trying to.
I, I
Okay,
do
go
have
for
to
it.
add. I mean, if you want to talk more about it, we can. But I know you got a second tier list, but I do gotta ask. So I see you have the
Okay,
both
go for it.
LA teams making it to the Western Conference Finals. Is that right?
Yeah, I had to watch a lot of NBA games, a lot of behind the back, a lot of podcasts that a lot of players talk about how they play in their teams. I was doing a lot of research, and I know how the Lakers is when they try to get somewhere. I know how LeBron wants to work. I know how AD wants to work. Even though I don't know them personally, I feel like they're gonna make it deep. It's just because the matchups they get. It's also the matchups. I don't think they're gonna go against the Nuggets. If they went against the Nuggets, then I would have put them in the second round.
Okay.
But they go against the Thunder. The Thunder's a young team that never been there.
Okay.
So I'm thinking they have to go on the top.
Okay.
But Clippers right now is looking nasty.
I do like that
That's
team.
on paper and the way how I watched them play and their bench is amazing. The Clippers organization really did their thing for the season. And everyone's healthy. It's if everyone's healthy in the playoffs, they're for sure making it somewhere.
I agree. I agree. So in the East, you have the Celtics and the Pacers. Kind of, we already touched on the Pacers.
We
Who do you
touched
think?
one part.
Go ahead.
We touch one part, and I'm just gonna explain it real quickly because in the second round they're gonna have to play Sixers, and if Joel Embiid doesn't show us something else that he's never done because he's lost so many playoffs in the second round, I think the Pacers are gonna make it through. Even though they're a young team, Pascal has already played Joel Embiid in the playoffs before, and he beat them. Even though he's like probably a bench, I'm pretty sure they can make it.
Wait, when does Joel Embiid get to come back?
I think playoffs, but it's you got to get back into rhythm
Yeah.
in order to like show out, and it is hard to getting back into rhythm with like, but he tear like his meniscus.
Yeah, meniscus.
That's like that's a hard injury because
Yeah.
Lonzo's in a meniscus injury, and if you think about how long he's coming back, well, Embiid might need to suffer a little bit, but he needs to really play in this playoffs in order to make it out that second round,
Without a
beat the
doubt.
Pacers or the Bucks.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
So in the West, you had the Battle of LA. In the East, you got Celtics, Pacers. Out of these
Young
four
guys.
teams, who would you if these were the matchups? Who would you pick to make the finals?
Man, if I had to be biased, I would be like, oh, the Lakers and Boston.
Yeah,
Because
I
you know
figured.
that
I
Lakers,
figured.
Boston, Philly. But I also like the Pacers to win. Like,
Ooh,
but it's just Boston has that team. They have a good they got a good starting lineup and a good bench. and it's just so hard for me to say who would make it out. I need to watch more Pacers versus Celtics games for me to think about that. But for the Lakers and the Clippers, that's also hard too. I know Paul George never made a finals. Only Kawhi has. Russell Westbrook also has made a finals, and James Harden has too.
Yep.
But
Yep.
they were young. But they did play against LeBron too. So
True.
it's a difficult say who's gonna make that. I do want the Lakers to make it because they have the most experience in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So LeBron definitely has, like, if he makes it again, that would be like his 10th finals or something like that. So
That's Braun.
I feel like they know how to execute. Everyone's actually playing well because of the trades, the rumors, and I hope they keep playing like that. And if they keep playing like that, they can for sure make the finals.
For sure.
But for for the East, it has to be for sure the Boston Celtics. Like they already went there.
Yeah.
They know how to get there. They
I mean,
There's no question for me in my mind.
as much as I dislike Boston, I mean they're a pretty clear
Yeah,
favorite in the East, I think. Um, I kind of did something similar, but I did it when the standings weren't what they are now. Uh,
yeah,
but pretty much I had the Celtics. So going down from 1 to 10 seed, I had Celtics, Cavaliers, Knicks, Bucks,
uh,
Pacers. I had Magic as the 6th seed, 76ers at 7th,
okay,
Magic at 8th, and then the Hawks and the
okay,
Nets in the play-in. In the West,
okay.
and this
I
this
don't
is
hate that
a
because I was gonna put the Nets honestly in the plane. I didn't want to, but I was like thinking, oh, if Jacob might do starting today. So,
yeah. So anyway, I'll say the West, but it'll be a precursor to my tier list in a sec. At the 1 seed, I had the Nuggets. At the 2, I had the Wolves.
okay,
Thunder
okay,
stay at 3rd. Clippers are at 4th. Suns 5th.
okay.
Pelicans, Mavs, Kings, and then Lakers Warriors is a bloody, bloody playing game. Which I pray we
We've seen
get. If
that
we get
before.
another one of those, that'd be fire.
We've
That'd be
seen it
fire.
before. I think that's what I had too. Uh, because they're 9 and 10 right now. So
Yeah.
of today. So
All right, man. Anything else you gotta say about this version of your tier list before we get down
nah, I
dirty?
mean, unless you have any questions, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are gonna tell me the Heat didn't make it. Well, they have to play Boston again, and Boston and the Heat they go 7 games.
I mean, you have the Heat beating the Cavs. I
Uh,
feel like that's pretty crazy.
well, Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is a different breed,
No, I agree.
and
No, for sure.
I don't think we've seen the Cavs go deep. I thought last year they were doing good, but I guess they didn't. And
I can't remember what happened
yeah, I
last
mean
year.
that's where it goes. That's why last year was a blur to me, and
I
I thought
just
the Cavs did so well, but they weren't doing that well. I think they went 4-1, like losing 4 games.
let me double check this because I don't know why I can't remember what happened. Let me see.
Everyone remembers the Celtics and the Heat because of that 3-0 run.
Oh right, the Knicks 4-1 them.
That's why
Yeah, Jalen Brunson's the
the
goat,
Knicks
bro.
4-1 them. Oh,
Jalen Jalen
bro,
Brunson might
they
be the
had a
goat.
team. They have the same roster. They just changed their small forwards a lot.
Bro, this was a scrappy ass series, bro. The highest points either team scored in 5 games was 106. That's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
it had to
crazy.
be a tough game for.
Hey man. Hey, those are some dogs, man. Those are some defensive, scrappy ass teams for sure. So, I could see that.
Oh yeah,
All right, are you ready for what I cooked up?
I'm excited.
All right, so on to my tier list. So this is the template I ended up sending PJ when we talked
Yeah.
about making playoff tier lists. What I didn't tell PJ is that I actually ended up adding another tier. I made
Okay.
another tier. I added pretenders. I got I got as I was making the tier list, there were some teams and strong contenders that I felt were only there because of their seeding. But I thought that those teams weren't really about it. So I had to add another tier. Now, first things first, we
Okay.
just gonna get all these poop teams. All these poop teams are just get them out of here. We don't need to look at you right now. We got a whole off season for you. Well, you get all the spotlight there, but right now you're staying down here. You're staying down here for now. Yes, that includes the Bulls. I have them falling out of the play-in. If they make the play-in, they're gonna lose anyways. So you know what? Let's just get that out the way
I
right
mean, we got
now.
the same mindset right there.
Let's get out the way right now.
Okay.
And I hint. All right, I'm gonna start from the. Should I start from the top or the bottom? What you think? Are we getting the big hitters
Mm,
or
let's start from the top. Let's make it spicy a little bit.
All right. I gotta take, and I hinted at it a little bit in my what I was talking about my standings earlier. My pick to
Yep.
win the NBA Finals,
Yep.
the whole thing. We going back to
Mhm.
back. It's the Denver Nuggets. Now,
Okay. I don't hate it.
right now they're the fourth seed, but they're like 3 games out or something like that. They're right there. The 1 through 4th seed in the West is so close. So, for all we know, they could end up playing, one of the playing teams, come playoffs. And I looked at this team as I was like, how much did this team actually change? So I looked it up. Their main piece that they lost was obviously Bruce Brown,
It
and
has to be.
you could say Jeff Green. Jeff Green was
Oh, I forgot about you.
35, but he had his role. I wanted to look. I was like, has this team regressed? Has this team fallen off? So I checked their offensive rating, their defensive rating. Last year they were 5th in offensive rating. This year they are 13th. However, the offensive rating from this year and last year
Okay.
are identical. They are pretty much the same from this year and last year. It's just that this year there's so much more offense that a top 5 offensive rating last year is 13th this year. But nothing
That's
about the
insane.
team has regressed. Jokic is still Jokic. There are the other pieces, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., they're still healthy. They're still doing their thing. I still think this team, which has very valuable playoff experience, I think this team is still the favorite amongst all these unproven other top seeds. That's my pick.
Okay.
I think the Nuggets are going back to back.
That's good. That's a good explanation. I have a reason why I didn't put them on top. But
Hey, you want
but
you go ahead,
I
talk
like
about
your
it.
explanation.
Talk
No,
about it.
no, no. I mean,
Talk about it.
I explained it's the matchups that I had set for them.
Okay, that was the other thing that I wanted to
I don't
do.
know.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to do a tier list because right now we have no idea what the matchups are. Once we see the matchups, then we
Uh,
can we could go in
we
depth
can go
on
get back into it.
yeah, we can go in depth on which matchups we like. But just generally speaking, I don't think anyone can stop Jokic, and playoff Jamal Murray is his own beast. So
That's true, but just
I believe in the big Serbian man personally.
I feel like when you lost Bruce Brown, Jeff Teague, and etc. I don't know who else they lost, but you're losing those from Bruce Brown. You're losing an all-around player who could play defense and offense. So you're losing a small part of that piece. I don't really see Eric Gordon as like a defender. He's really good offensively. Like he could dunk. We know that for sure. He could shoot now, and he's a perfect right next to Jokic. And then Casey, 3D player, but like I think that middle guy's defense as good as Bruce Brown that could guard inside. I mean, Jokic has been recently, but
Well, you
that's the only reason why I he's a strong contender for me. I had to drop him down to strong contender.
you was cutting out a bit at the beginning of that sentence.
Uh, this. Okay, I'm just gonna simplify it. Losing Bruce Brown was the biggest thing they lost for defense.
No, I agree
That's what I'm
100%.
saying. I he it's just that Aaron Gordon, like I said, Aaron Gordon, he doesn't play the defense I expect him to play.
No, I'm with you. I'm with it. But
And
my
Jokic,
my
Jokic's Jokic.
yeah, my main reason for putting them up there as favorites is
Know how to
cuz
do it.
they've done it already.
Yeah.
All the other top teams, they haven't proven it. They haven't shown they can do it. The only player in any of the top 4 seeds that has done it is is Kawhi Leonard.
Why?
That's it.
Yeah.
Out of
He's played in two different conferences.
every other top 4 seed in the West, he's the only player. So I'm rocking with the Nuggets coming out the West, out the East. We already talked about it. Celtics. The team is the team is just good. They got defenders everywhere. I think having their two best players be athletic athletic wing players that can score. I think that's I think that's a really nasty matchup for a lot of
That's,
people.
yeah.
Um, his wing defenders are probably one of the most
Mhm.
valued pieces that teams can have, especially contending teams. Um, it's like having really good cornerbacks in NFL. It's the same kind of thing. Obviously, you need scores, but being able to slow down those scores is insanely important. And uh, just like I said, just speaking,
They also had the addition of Drew.
yeah, I said just speaking from matchup perspective, there just aren't a lot of teams that are able to handle that. And like I said, they do have good
Exactly.
defenders all around. Obviously adding Drew Holiday is awesome. Um, they got Derek White. They still have Jalen Brown. Kristaps is there. If Kristaps can stay healthy, that'd be awesome. They traded for Xavier Tillman, I think.
Awesome.
Um,
Oh, they
so
have him. I
I think
forgot.
so. So I mean, the team should make it out of the East. This should be the team, but we'll have to see on that one because they haven't sealed the deal yet. But maybe this year's the year. Strong contender. My other favorite team to make it out of the West, Los Angeles Clippers. Great team. I really love what James Harden does for the
Yes.
Kawhi PG dynamic. Westbrook off the bench is awesome. I mean, the team just functions. The team is working and moving. This iteration of the Clippers is moving like we have not seen them move before. Having a very real ball distributor is doing wonders for them. And God damn it, if Kawhi can stay healthy, if Paul George can stay healthy,
Just need to play.
they might actually cook for once. Who knows? I mean, maybe because we've been saying that
Bring
for
their first championship.
years. If they can stay healthy, they might make some noise. They haven't made a sound. So hopefully this is the year they can stay healthy. Like, I really like this team. I think it's gonna be. I think this is definitely one of the more interesting teams, especially because they're definitely older, way older compared to the
Yeah.
other top seeds in the West. The Timberwolves and the Thunder, even the Nuggets are young considering who their core is. So seeing these old men go out there for kind of one last shot at a ring, I wouldn't be mad at all if they made it. I think it's a great team. And you already touched on it. Everything about the team is great.
Yeah.
Um, they're they're up there. Like I said, we've said before, the matchups might kill some people. Especially with some of these dark horses that we're gonna get to. These teams are scary. You don't want to play
Yes.
some of these dark horses, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Next up,
Let's see.
my next team. It's coming out the East. I'm on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't know. I don't actually know what it is about this year with this team. Uh, they're kind of balling though. I don't know what changed.
This is the chemistry.
Yeah,
It
it
has to
might
be the
just be,
chemistry.
they were obviously a young core, young team. They were, they're pretty. It's pretty I don't say miraculous, but for a pretty inexperienced and young team, they make it to the playoffs last year. They kind of shit the bed, I would say, considering that they barely scored 100 points in each game, if that. It was like it was a pretty. It wasn't exactly close, especially since it was a 4-1 series. Even if the box scores were decently close, but I think the team is good. Oh no, you've gone
Ooh,
again. I think the team is good. I like the roster build. I think that they are built to handle a lot of teams in the playoffs. I think the core between Mobley and Allen is damn near as good as it gets, dare I say, in terms of being able to match up down low. They still have Donovan Mitchell. He's put up some crazy numbers, and he's done it before. They just, I think this is,
one.
yeah, I think this is one of the teams where they really just need to they really will benefit just from having experience, just playoff experience, getting used to the pressure, the environment, the atmosphere, all of that. Like this team is really young. I mean, I feel like this team has a lot of potential. I would like to see them reach their potential, and I think they can. I think it's a real team. Would they actually be? Are they actually the fourth best team in the NBA? That's debatable. That's where I'm putting them though, because I
Very
think
debatable.
I mean they went on like a 16 game win streak. Like I think this team has something, and I think they can beat a lot of the teams in the East for sure.
No, I also had them as strong contenders. I just put them low for my first one, but it was all because of matchups.
All right, my next team,
Uh-huh.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
I like that.
I had the Thunder up
I also
here.
put them up there.
I believe in Shea. Shea is a baller. I believe in Chet. I think Chet's great. I just think they have a lot of good pieces. I mean, they've made it to one of the top seeds in the West. They're doing their thing. I feel like I don't have a reason to believe that they can't keep doing this. I can't see, obviously they are young. They're very young, very very playoff inexperienced. But I've seen I've seen it up. I've seen Shea have an MVP campaign. I've seen Chet. If it weren't for Wembanyama, he would definitely be rookie of the year, even though he was drafted last year. But that's besides the point.
Okay.
But I think the team just has so many nice pieces. It all comes together really nicely, and I just think that they could really make some noise. They could really do something if they can avoid some of the nastier matchups. But I mean, I think this team beats a lot of. I think this team could 100% beat a lot of the West. I think that's why they've already, even though they are so young, they've already risen to be one of the top seeds. So I'm a believer. I'm a believer in OKC. This is my last strong contender. This is the last one.
There's nothing to say.
This is the
Okay.
last. This is the last strong contender, which means I'm leaving two of the top four
I
seeds
wonder who it is.
out of
Okay,
the out of strong
should I predict?
contenders. What do you think?
You already have your mouse on it. Yeah. Predict on who you already had it on it. So I want to see this. I want to see
I'm
why
a
you say the
believer in
Knicks.
the New York Knicks. I'm a believer in the
I
New
do
York
believe.
Knicks. I I have seen the truth. I knew Jalen Brunson was a dog, but he is a dog. He
He
is
is a
a
dog.
dog for real. He is real as hell. I mean, this team is sick. I don't know if you follow Wob. You follow Wob on Twitter. Rob Perez, I think is his name. He's a Knicks fan. He
He's a Knicks.
he pretty
No,
much
I don't.
says that this team It takes teams that score 120 points a night. They just beat them, baseball bats, just dogging them. Just they play lockdown, scrappy. Just you don't get to play the game. Like they, like I've seen this team lock down the Halliburton Pacers to a sub 100
Oh
almost.
dang.
I've seen like this team does it on a nightly basis, and they're missing Mitchell Robinson. They're going to be missing
And
OG
Randall.
Randall. So they got some injuries. So they I assume they're going to fall in the standings. But I think once everyone's healthy, once they're all good,
Oh yeah.
I think this
You
team,
can get it done.
they really might do it. I mean,
You can get it done.
I feel like if there is a team that could match up with the Celtics, if we're talking about matchups,
Be the
if
Knicks.
we're talking about a team that can match up with the Celtics, the Knicks 100% could do it. I think they could do it, especially when they get, well, they're gonna need OG, that's for sure. But
We
once
look
they
up
get
their
OG
depth.
back, uh, they get OG back. Mitchell Robinson can hold down the paint better. I mean, I feel like this team. I think this team is real. I'm really excited to watch this team. I think they for sure make it out of the first round, for sure, no matter who they play. I just feel like this team, led by Jalen Brunson on the best contract in the NBA. He's so cheap for that team. And it's sick. I mean, I love watching this team because they really are just like they their defense is really nuts. It's like it really does feel like it's just like oppressive. Like just seeing what they can do to some of these top level teams is just it's nuts.
Huh.
Shout out to Power Point. No, was
The
it
addition of
Power Guard Josh Hart. That's the
oh,
goat.
I love their pickup in the trades for Bojan.
Yeah, for sure.
It's more depth for like bench, or you could put him as a starter. It's great. I don't hate what you said about the Knicks. For me, when I made my tier list, they were much lower than what I had them as. But I don't know why I did that, but it's also because of like we didn't explain how the playoffs went last year. You explained that the highest point game was 106, and you also said that guy, what's his name, Wob,
Yeah. Rob Perez.
and the 100 points. That makes a lot of sense. It's just they need to get all their guys in. If they have all
Yeah.
their guys in, like you said, they can make it pretty deep, and I believe that. But I'm surprised you didn't have the Heat up there for the strong contenders, unless they are your dark horse.
And so I mostly separated this by seed, just because it felt.
Okay,
I don't know. That's just how it ended up. But like
I do too. I mean,
I said there were some strong contenders that I felt didn't belong there, so I had to make. But I didn't want to put them in dark horses because that wouldn't make any sense. So I had to make another tier.
yeah,
Speaking of
pretenders.
pretenders, my first pretender, a team that I don't really believe in,
Okay, I'm not mad at
Minnesota
that.
Timberwolves.
I didn't know where to put them either. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Like, I kept them in the strong contenders because they're number one seed right
Yeah.
now, or two, or whatever they're at. But
Now this one,
that's
this is gonna take a bit. It's gonna take a bit. So obviously, I believe in Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards is good. I believe in
yes.
Naz Reid. Naz Reid is good. Rudy
believe
Gobert
in
is good on
Naz.
defense. I believe
He's
in him.
doing good this year too.
I believe
He's
in
doing
Rudy
so.
Gobert's defense. Cat's
Cat
Cat's having a
is
good
the
year.
only
He's
guy.
having a good year.
He's
But
the best year he's had.
but can I really see this team beating the Nuggets? Can I see them
No,
beating the Clippers and the Thunder in 7-game series? I don't know if I can personally. Now, obviously, I think Anthony Edwards is good. I think Anthony Edwards
Yes,
is great, but
I see him as Michael Jordan.
will he be able to do enough though to outdo these other teams? I don't know. I have concerns about Cat in the playoffs. I don't know if I believe in Cat as a playoff performer. That I think still has to be proven. I don't know how much playoff
Yeah.
experience he actually has. I don't. It's definitely not very much. I don't know what he looks like in the sample
Yes.
size, but I think I mean, he definitely has never been a first seed before. That's for sure. He's never been on a team that's as a top contender seed wise. I don't know if I believe in it. I just don't. Like I said, when I just compare this team to the other teams in the West in particular, I just have a hard time seeing them pulling off 7 wins or winning a 7 game series.
Yes.
Personally, now can they do it? 100%. It's possible. I just don't know
They can.
if they
They
really
just need to figure out.
figure what out.
No, no, finish. Just finish.
Hey man, I'm just
I don't know if they really what.
like I
No,
don't know.
I,
There's that intangible dog factor. And I'm willing to bet that Edwards has it. I'm
yes.
sure he has it. I don't know about anyone else on that team though. I don't know if anyone else on that team has the dog factor. And I know that's such a nonsense way of explaining it, but it's real. Jimmy Butler has the dog factor. It's why no one wants to play the Heat. There's a dog mentality.
Yeah.
There's a dog. There's a. It really is an intangible thing that just makes people play better in the playoffs. Makes people rise to the occasion. I don't know. I don't think a lot of the Wolves have that in them.
Well, what I was gonna say about the Wolves is it's really similar to what you said. That dog factor. They really need to know how to execute how to win. Like when Cat had that 62 points, they didn't execute that game.
Yeah.
They were up.
Yeah.
They were up. Stay up. I
Yeah.
know Ant didn't have a good night because he was letting Cat do his thing. But at the same time, if you're letting one person do his thing, everyone needs to cooperate and do their part, at least. You can't let someone have a holy night just to lose. You need to win that game. I feel like there is a lot of dogs on that team. Like McDaniels is a dog.
Yeah. I do like
Mike
McDaniels.
Conley,
I do like McDaniels.
he's old now, but he's a dog.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert is a dog. He holds it down for the team, especially since he's the anchor.
Right. Right.
Like you said, Naz Reid is pretty much a dog. Did I mention Kyle Anderson? Slow mo?
Slow mo's cool.
He's a dog.
I like slow mo.
I feel like he also he's the locker room guy who gets everyone together and just has to get everyone in the right head. But it Cat's the problem on that team. I've been saying it for years. Like, I like him this season, but that 62-point game had me in shambles for the Timberwolves. It made
Yeah.
me stop believing. I don't want to stop believing in this team. I know this team can do it. I know this team can actually, maybe in 5 years, if they try to keep the same roster down, can do it.
Hmm.
But it's just the execution of that team.
I don't I don't know
Um,
how. And the other thing, they lost to the Hornets. He dropped
and I like the Hornets
62
too.
in a loss to the Hornets. The Hornets? What?
Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller killed them. That's
What
all I
even?
gotta say.
How though? Like what? I think they can. Obviously, they made it to this seed for a reason. I just don't.
Yes.
I don't see. I don't think they can make. I feel like they're losing in the second round. I think they're going one and done.
I I think that this is for the whole Timberwolves. Actually, it's not. It's towards Cat. Cat has been carried every single time to the playoffs. Jimmy Butler gave you a
Yeah,
taste of the playoffs,
yeah.
dog. You should understand better. Play harder. Bro, my camera. You should understand to play harder. And it's helping you. And D-Lo, the players you ever played with on your team, they gave you a taste of. You need to understand here. You need to play best level.
Mm-hmm.
You need a defense. You need to figure out how to execute the game. All those players, they got it. They know how to. I mean, I threw in D'Lo in there, but he was a major help for them to beat that meme when Pat Bev thought
Yeah,
like we thought they won the finals type of shit.
that was the
But
best
it's
shit
like,
ever.
come on, Cat. You have so much help in your career. You you do something in that group project. He's like one of those guys in the group project who doesn't do anything and he'll still get an A grade. Like even though we've seen you put the work in, you need to figure out how to execute them games, bro. Like you'll for sure make it out to the second round, but I'm not gonna say what's going on there. You might leave, or you might keep on going up. You just it's all Cat. That's what makes that team a pretender to me.
Alright, so I pulled his
All
stats
the
up.
blame is on Cat.
I pulled his stats up for the playoffs. In 16 games, he's averaging 18.6 points, 11.4 rebounds, and 2 assists. In
You said how many rebounds?
11.4, playing
I mean that's
30, playing like 35-ish minutes a game. So he has playoff
30.
experience, but his average is his points average is way down, and he's shooting career under 50% as a center or a big man. Under 50%. Obviously, he doesn't take all his shots aren't typical big man shots, but still shooting under 50%. Well, pretty significantly under 50%, like 46, 47. So, Cat, if there was ever a time, if there was ever a time, go do your thing, man. That is my first pretender. Now, there's only
I
one
like that.
top seed missing from this list. And as much as it pains me to say, as a Giannis stan, it's only right. The Glenn Rivers-led Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, there were some times explaining the other teams where it was hard to find the words of why I believed in them, or maybe why I didn't believe in them. What could go wrong? What could go right? I don't need to say any words. This team, the coach, the players, the media, they're saying all of it already. Doc Rivers is coming out here saying, "Oh well, I told them I didn't know why they asked me to be the coach. I told them I don't know what you're
I
doing.
watched that.
I don't know what you're
I
doing.
watched that.
I don't know why you're asking me to do this." Giannis is out here saying, "Oh, there's so much change. The ownership's changing, the coach is changing, we have injuries, the players are changing, everything's changing. I got to be more vocal as a leader. Everyone's freaking out. Pat Bev and JJ Redick are beefing over Doc Rivers. I don't know what the fuck's happening. I mean, the whole situation around this team is a disaster. I mean, Damian Lillard just won a 3-point contest and an All-Star MVP, and no, everyone's already forgotten. It doesn't matter already. So much has already happened since All-Star weekend that it's fucking. There's no shot this team does anything. Like, I just don't believe at all. I said the amount of Doc Rivers posts I've seen in the past like 2 days is insane, bro. I said that there's not enough I could say about this team. So I feel like I don't feel like I don't even really have to explain this putting Bucks as a pretender. I mean, what have you seen? What have you seen on the internet about all this?
I did see the what you mentioned about how I was like, oh, I don't know why you brought me on so soon. I I wanted to get it. I wanted to enjoy my vacation and
Yeah.
just get picked up after All Star Weekend.
Oh my god.
Now and they just signed me, and I was like, oh man, I don't know what the Bucks are doing. Get Damian Lillard's coach. You, Jacob, you had said it to the people that
I
we
did say
need
it.
Damian Lillard's coach. I feel like
He left.
I
Terry Stotts
get it.
left in the
Yeah.
preseason
Oh, he left in the preseason.
or
I thought.
before
Okay,
it.
I heard it wrong.
I mean, no, he was on the coaching staff and then he kept getting in arguments or whatever with Adrian Griffin. So then Terry Stotts was like, "Nah, I'm out." He was on the team. He was on the staff. And then he left cuz he didn't get along with it. He wasn't fucking with Adrian Griffin or the other way around. It was mutual probably. But and now Adrian Griffin's gone. Now Adrian Griffin's gone. Now we're on to Glenn Rivers.
This
He's
reminds me of. You know what this reminds me of?
what?
When I think this was the Knicks with Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony said, "I'll stay if you kick out Phil,"
Oh, yeah.
something like that, and they left.
It, it's a lot. People are kind of turning on Giannis a little bit because people are saying he's kind of complaining about a situation he brought upon himself, where he was talking about the ownership change, the coaching change, the chemistry change because they brought in Damian Lillard and he's a big star and now there's a lot going on. The quote people took is it's kind of out of context because like I was curious where the quote came from where he said all this stuff because he was dropping f bombs like crazy. So I was like, what where's this even from? So I know I was scrolling through the art. It was like on the Athletic. I was scrolling through the article, and right after that quote about him being kind of stressed or uh kind of just in a funk. There's just a lot changing. He's just trying to get his shit together, pretty much. The next quote is, but I don't want to victimize myself. I don't want to, I don't want to. At the end of the day, I gotta play. I gotta do what I gotta do. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. That I'm gonna try to get myself together, whatever. But people just took the first part where he's just like, oh, there's so much changing, and they kind of just took that and were like, oh, he did this to himself. He's the one that didn't want Nick Nurse, which he didn't. But a lot of people don't like Nick Nurse apparently, in terms of players.
Why is that?
I think he's just an asshole.
If you-
Like I think he's a good, at least
I
decent,
feel like
good coach. At least, obviously, I know he's done a
he's
lot.
doing
I know he's done a lot, but
a
apparently
lot.
he's an
Yeah,
asshole. Like people don't like him as a person.
he's probably an asshole, but in a direction where he's a dog too. Like he's trying to get you there.
Hey, maybe could be, but
Like
Giannis didn't want him, which is why they didn't sign him, or hire him. But, like I said, there's so much what feels like dysfunction. Maybe it's not actually dysfunction. There's so much what feels like dysfunction, so much chaos, so much. It's the team is still 3-7 under Glenn Rivers. So I mean, it's like, and I and I know that I've said before that apparently the team in terms of playing has looked better. The execution hasn't been perfect, but the team has supposedly looked better. But it still just looks like they're in shambles. So it kind of doesn't. It looks like it doesn't matter what's gonna happen. Like I think this team might lose in the first round, no matter who it is, unless Giannis
yeah,
carries.
I had him.
Unless Giannis carries.
All right, I had an activity in mind for about Giannis, but I'm gonna say this for you. Who's a coach all time coaches? I don't know a lot of coaches, but I feel like this is the perfect coach because I've seen it happen in videos. Who's the perfect coach to coach Giannis? You could pick any old coach from back in the day, and you could pick coaches from now. Oh my
What the
god!
fuck? Um. Hmm. Dude, it's weird because Giannis is kind of a It's kind of a one of one, not in the sense that, especially going back in time, there definitely weren't a lot of players built like Giannis. uh, I mean, I just think of generally good coaches that have dealt with superstars. Guys like,
But what they got right now?
I feel like, I mean, I love Tyronn. I think Tyronn Lue's actually pretty
Uh,
underrated. I think Tyronn Lue's good, really good. Um, I think a lot of
oh yeah, he's
amongst the
definitely
casual
underrated.
fans, people mostly just know him as the guy that was there with LeBron in Cleveland, and like he was like the pseudo coach. But
Yeah.
I think he was real, and he still is real, and he's part of the reason why the Clippers are where they are. But I mean, I don't know. Here's what I'll say. Somebody said, and I didn't agree with this, but I thought it was a really bizarre statement. Somebody said they
Okay.
should fire Doc Rivers, which I was already like, okay, well, they can't do that yet. But they said fire Doc Rivers and hire Phil Jackson. I,
Okay, here look. That's what I was gonna say.
yeah, okay, I thought
If
so.
I was the guy controlling the series, I would have said Phil Jackson.
That's what I've heard.
We already seen Magic. That's Pat Riley. We already seen Kobe and Shaq. It
Right.
it makes sense. Like Dame's not like I've seen him dunk the other day in like a game. It was recent. Like he posted somebody,
Okay.
but he's not rookie Dame.
No, of course not.
But the the offense that they deliver. Oh my gosh, my camera's gone.
Yeah.
Offense that Dame can deliver and bring to the Bucks that everyone thought he was gonna bring can really help Giannis in a great offensive defensive coach mind. And then Giannis is obviously the Shaq of today. He's the
Okay. Yeah.
Shaq Will any big man that you want to say in history of today. Besides Hakeem, I feel like Hakeem's more of a Joel Embiid. I feel like with those two in that triangle offense, defense, whatever, I think it could click. You got Pat Bev here too that can help perimeter. You still have Bobby and you still have Brooke. And if you want to throw in Dante Divison, oh no, it's not Pat Cunnington. If you want to throw him in there, that's another good guy too. But I feel like Phil Jackson, if he came back today and that was his team, I'm pretty sure he can really figure it out.
Now, I have heard that. I have heard the idea of Phil Jackson. I
That's
I just don't know if it makes sense at this point. Phil Jackson has been out of the league for how long? Now, I think if we're talking about prime Phil, sure, I could see it. If we're talking right now, when was the last time he's coached?
well, he's trying to guide Derek Fisher how to become a great coach, but Derek Fisher couldn't execute. We've
Right,
seen the Knicks.
right.
Um, honestly, like I'm pretty sure he could still do it. I'm pretty sure he's still watching the game and he's seeing teams that he could coach for, but he's at the time where I don't really need to put my shoes back on and become a coach. I mean, a lot of other retired guys who that could become coaches too. Like Rajon Rondo, I heard that he should have been a coach, and
That'd
I'm
be
just
fun.
surprised that he's not a coach now.
That'd be fun. I don't know.
Like
I think if it was Giannis's decision, they would have just kept Coach Bud.
honestly, I still don't get why they did that. Like I
I think
get that you have a lot of playoff losses, but he brought you guys a chip. They're still believing in what's the Nuggets coach right now? His
Mike
name?
Malone.
Yeah, he's been a coach forever, and they only achieved one finals in his time span of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But he has achieved one finals, and it's still recent. I get that. I get that they lost at a poor time. Giannis got hurt in that around that time, and then he lost his sister, and then they let him go. I thought that was the worst way to let go of a coach. I feel like the only way that Giannis and him can be together again is if Giannis leaves the Bucks organization.
He might. He might.
I feel like that was his biggest regret for this season. As of right now, I feel like him signing that 5 year, I think, max deal,
I mean,
that extension,
he likes Milwaukee. I mean, I get why he signed
he
it.
does. But
I get why he signed. I
right
mean,
now, I don't think he likes Milwaukee. I think he's gonna look for a trade coming soon, maybe after 3 years.
well,
If
maybe.
the organization stays on that path of, I don't know what we're doing right now, the SpongeBob meme where they're throwing the papers, everything's on fire.
Like I think that if KD's foot is an inch shorter 2-3 years ago, that Coach Bud
You
gets
think that
fired then. I think if they don't win that championship, he gets fired that season. Personally,
you think so?
I think he does because I think that that was one of the contending points of what does Milwaukee need to do to win a championship. It was to get a fake change of coaching. People obviously he's a good coach. He got them there. He turned the culture around in Milwaukee to get
He
them
did.
to that point. That's obvious.
Yeah.
We
Brought in the
the
underdogs with him.
issues were in the playoffs where he never really like his defensive scheme gave up a lot of wide open threes, which is why a lot of teams shot so
Okay.
well from three against them. I mean, that was just the scheme. I mean, you can, argue whether you just hope they miss or, and then just, block off the paint. It's a philosophy thing. But a lot of
Yeah.
people had issue with the way that was run. And I wasn't entirely surprised he got fired. But I knew that the bigger
Okay.
struggle was going to be finding somebody that could be a good replacement, and I guess they failed on that front. So, so now we're here. Now
They
Glenn
failed
Rivers.
twice.
Now, yeah, the one thing that no Bucks fan wanted somehow happened. Now Glenn Rivers is the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. So, yeah. All right, I think you have anything else to add on the Bucks? I think we hit on
I don't know. It's just, yeah. I was just stuck on Bud being
we hit on a lot there.
fired. I mean, but the only thing I would say about Bud is Bud really, like, he made Giannis and Milton the players that they are now, and that's what I would say for him. Like, if Giannis could rejoin him on a team in the future, I feel like they'll make it to the playoffs again and look like contenders.
Oh, for sure.
Like you said, they did give up a lot of threes. That's such a key factor, but
Yeah.
still knowing that they got the chip together and made it deep the playoffs many times
Hey,
made a
man.
lot of sense.
Whenever people say, whenever a team makes the finals or whatever, and it's like, oh, hey man, you're primed to make it back. You'll have another chance soon. The teams almost never get another chance. A lot of teams they make it to the finals, they don't make it back with that core for forever. Like they never make it back. A lot of times that goes for any
Yeah.
sport, really. Like the
Oh
teams
yeah.
the teams that are dynasties, it takes a lot to do that. A lot. Much less to make one.
The Nets dynasty. They had KG, Paul
Yeah, that
Pierce,
wasn't real. I'm acting like that
Darren
didn't happen.
Williams. I don't know the whole.
I'm I'm acting like that
But
didn't happen.
look at that. That's one that would that's
That
basically
that's some
that would
nasty stuff.
never.
Yeah, hell no. That's some foot.
In
That
their prime, they probably would have made it.
I mean, yeah, but that
But that trade made the future of Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, blah blah blah, etc.
right. Anyways,
All right,
enough about the Bucks.
next pretender.
That's my last pretender. I think that's one,
I
two, three,
wonder
four,
who are you
five.
gonna.
That's
Yeah, really?
that's all
Okay.
the seeds. That's all the seeds. All the top 8 seeds, I guess. If this was gonna be, well, I don't know exactly, but I think these are the top 8 seeds if it's no conferences, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But top eight,
Yeah, it's top eight. Top eight.
top six,
Yeah, sure. Top
top
six.
six.
Top six. Because I'm
Because
not.
top six needs.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm not counting the pretenders. Because they're
Oh,
not
okay.
real. All right. So my first dark horse. I still believe. I still think this team could do something. I'm with the Phoenix Suns there. I think that there's a reason
Okay.
the West is strong, and obviously I know KD might get hurt, Bradley Beal might get hurt, Devin Booker is light skinned, but you know what? It is what it is. I think that this team could still do something. I'm not gonna count out a team with Kevin Durant uh and Devin Booker. I mean, those two are just good at basketball. I mean, I bet you this team's 100% at least a fourth seed in the East. Um,
Uh-huh.
if they have an easier schedule. And obviously they've had injuries, so that's obviously hampering them too. But like I
Uh-huh.
said, I'm not just gonna, especially considering that they'll probably be the fifth seed. They might. Well, I mean, regardless, if they play one of the top four teams, it'll still probably come down to which team they match up best against. But I just think this team is good.
Yeah.
Perfect, absolutely not. They have holes for sure. Very top
A
heavy.
lot of holes.
Very top heavy. Uh, but the top's good though. Hey, top is good. So you know what? I still think the team's good. I'm not gonna go too in depth on them just
Here's my,
because. I'm like, what?
but okay. I know you go too in depth. I had them as first round exit
Okay,
because I
that's
believe
fair.
they are a first round exit.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't
Go ahead.
the I've talked about I've told Jacob before. I don't know if we said it in a podcast, our first pilot podcast, but I have told Jacob I believe that when they traded Chris Paul, that was the worst decision that they ever made. Chris Paul was the reason why Devin Booker had made it to the playoffs in the first place. Um, like I know with the addition of Kevin Durant, it made them a huge playoff contender, and I'm happy that they let go of DeAndre Ayton and then got Nurkic back on that team. Um, but Bradley Beal being on that team is really like I feel like it makes the team a bit dysfunctional. I know there's a lot of scorers and not a lot of closers. Like I like that Devin Booker is actually like taking the role of playing point guard and he's playing a lot of defense now, especially last year's playoffs when Chris Paul wasn't there. It's just that I feel like they could have had another piece instead of Bradley Beal.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
I still believe why is he there? He should be on a team. He should be on a team and not other scorers who can.
That's fair.
I've never seen Bradley Beal execute in the playoffs.
Fair. Yeah.
So that's why I have them. But it's also that the bench lineup. Yeah, they kind of improved from last year, but they need to start bringing out Bull Bull too. Let him play so he can have a feel for the game. You just I feel like they put him in there because of replacement KD for now. Like, but they need to let him play. They need to let their bench players play so they can have their feet in for clutch moments if they need those players. Let's say if Booker gets injured, if KD gets injured, they need to start playing those bench players. They can't run 40 minutes like Tom Thibodeau style on Booker and KD. And Bradley Beal is not there. He's been there for half the season. Played
Yeah.
like at least 30 games.
Yeah. It's rough.
So that's why I was like, Chris Paul on and off the court was really good at like helping his team move into the right direction. I don't know what Bradley Beal is doing for his team on and off the court or off the court. That's my only concern for them in making it deep. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of teams I know that could beat that team,
Yeah.
but closing scoring wise, if it was like pick up basketball, that's what that team looks like to me.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see them losing in the first round. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I just think that of the lower seeds in the West, I feel like I mean, I like their odds. Like, I don't think that it's obviously it's flawed, but I don't think it's a bad team. I still think that they have enough firepower that if everyone gets hot, that they could beat anybody. It's one of those kinds of teams. How
Yeah, they're
often
the
that'll
Suns.
happen?
They have to have that.
Yeah, how often that'll happen is probably the bigger concern. But I think that they're deserving of being like a team where it's like, okay, we really gotta we if we don't bring our A game, we will lose the series. That's how I feel about them.
What's your next dark horse? Okay,
You already know,
my
man.
favorite
You
team.
already know, man. You know who we rocking over here. I
Yeah.
ain't even gotta explain anything. Tyrese Halliburton, the GOAT. They got Siakam. This team is just
Yep.
fun. This team is sick. I'm just excited
Oh,
to see what this team can do. Just in general, I'd like. It's just gonna be nice for Halliburton to get some playoff experience. Uh, big Pacers, big Pacers fan. Just because of Tyrese, and I like Miles Turner. I like his Legos. So
waiting for Tyrese.
yeah, so I don't need to go too in depth on Indiana. I mean, I talked about it. I talk about him like every week, every video. So I mean, you already know the vibes. I'm
Oh
rocking with
yeah.
Indiana.
Um, I was telling Jacob earlier. I have a guy that could be maybe a runner-up for MVP in a top three spot if they get to a top three spot in the East. And it has to be Tyrese. Yeah, I feel
Damn.
like he's gonna be the guy who sneaks into the MVP conversation and probably might win it all. Just
I
because of
mean,
how well the team has improved from last year to this year.
true.
And how they're so much up in the playoff contenders instead of the play-in that they could actually make that they can make it deep in the playoffs. That's why I have them up too.
It
And
might.
also, I have a oh wait, what
No,
were
no,
you
you
gonna
go ahead.
say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My question is, I had mentioned spicy earlier, and I was thinking, is Pascal Siakam still Spicy Pete?
I don't know.
Because
Why?
people still call him Spicy Pete.
I haven't heard that in forever.
Yeah,
So
I said
I
spicy, and we were talking about Siakam earlier, and I was like, is Siakam still named Spicy Pete,
I don't
or
know.
is he just a regular old Siakam now?
My the big
Question.
concern with this Pacers team is without a doubt the
Okay.
defense. It's pretty obvious that this team can run and gun with anybody, but they they can't stop anybody either. They have pieces.
I feel like
They have pieces,
the,
but
the additions,
huh?
the addition of getting Spicy P, Miles Turner.
Like I said they
Well,
yeah.
they've been having Miles Turner. Is that Spicy P can play perimeter now? I'm not gonna bring him up from the front court to the back court.
No, no, no.
He could guard somewhere on the corners, but with the addition of him playing defense, I feel like they can operate better. I don't know who their two guard is on on the
I'm pretty sure it's
Pacers.
Nembard. So,
Nimbard? Okay.
yeah.
Like I think Matherin is a good perimeter defensive player. I,
Yeah,
I I don't I'm not too familiar with his game yet though,
it's just not their strong
but
suit.
I'm pretty sure.
It's just not their
Yeah,
strong suit by any
I'll
means.
get better.
And I think
They'll get better.
Siakam is a great addition, just to add defense to the team. I do still like Miles Turner. I think he's a perfect fit for this Halliburton team. Um, but yeah, I said
Yeah.
that'll just be their main issue. Can they, if they can't, just straight up outscore somebody, are they going to be able to get enough stops to keep to win over a 7-game series? Because we saw in the in-season tournament, if you give them a game, they can get a game for sure. Halliburton will get them a game, but they got to get 4 games. So
Yeah.
that's my only concern. But you know how we rock over here,
I
Indiana,
think they can do it.
Indiana all the way. All right,
We're
my
wearing
next,
Indiana colors right now.
that's what's up. My next dark horse. I think we might have to have a little talk about this one.
We might have to. I wasn't familiar with their game. Now I am familiar with their
New Orleans
game, and
Pelicans.
uh,
New Orleans Pelicans.
I have to put some respect on the Pelicans' name now.
I think now we still have 2 months. Something could happen
You
to
have a lot of
Zion.
time.
Something could happen to Zion. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. Something could happen to him. We don't know. We never know what will happen to this guy. Obviously, he is athletically gifted like no other. Absolute freak of nature.
Yeah.
But if he can stay healthy, him and Brandon Ingram is one of the coolest, I think that's one of the most interesting duos in the league. I think that those two
Yeah.
next to each other is really not only interesting in terms of like how their games contrast and complement each other, but it's just so funny that one dude is this skinny, lanky, uh, skinny, lanky, looks like he's always high, guy, and then the guy next to him barreling down the lane, barreling down the lane
Oh, hilarious.
left-handed, throwing dunks down, layups, big body self, and they're right next to each other. It's just funny. I just think that this team is really fun. I really like Herb Jones. I think Herb Jones is one of my favorite players. I love the way
Jones,
he
he's
plays
a
the
dog.
game. Herb Jones is a
Right.
dog. They still got CJ, which is kind of
Very
funny.
scrappy.
I forget CJ's there, but CJ's still there. CJ McCollum. He's there
Yeah.
too, but really I'm there for
He's
Herb
spacing the floor.
Jones and Brandon Ingram. I really like those teams, and I'm really interested to see what Zion can actually do in the playoffs. Granted, he makes it.
I feel like you're leaving a guy out
I
of
need
that
him.
team.
Oh yeah, they got
His
Jonas.
name, but his name needs to shine.
They got Jonas is definitely good. Is there someone that's Jonas, right? Is there anyone else? I know.
It's
I mean, I know they have a lot of
somebody.
good pieces, but the main guys that I like are Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones. But Jonas Valanciunas is great. I think he's
I'm
good.
not even. Oh, I'm thinking about Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy's good. He's one of the pieces that I was thinking of. Trey Murphy, Jordan Hawkins, Jose Alvarado, those guys.
Like him and Herbert Jones, they switch off a lot. They
Yeah,
for this team.
I like those guys.
Like in the future, if they ever try to trade their star players, I feel like they need to keep those guys on the team. I feel like they could be a star one day. I love I love the players they have
I agree.
like on the starting and in the bench. I feel like they just need a real center for their bench. And I know they have Cody Zeller, but he's like
That's Cody
whatever.
Zeller, bro.
Like Larry Nance Jr. is the perfect person behind Zion.
I
If
do
you
like
lose
Larry
Zion,
Nance.
you have Larry Nance.
I do like Larry Nance Jr. too.
He's not as strong as Zion, but he brings that Showtime type of feel where he'll he'll do a flashy dunk and blah blah blah. But like, I was watching the game of Jonas Valanciunas and Zion, and sometimes I'm like, in my head, and it's like, what they on offense they look kind of weird
Yeah,
because I know Jonas can be like Brook Lopez and shoot a three, but they both post up at the same time. Like they can be both post ups, but it like just watching their game, it just feels kind of weird. I was watching a guy like talk about how he doesn't understand why Tunis is there, and it makes me think, why is he there?
I
So
think
right now I'm
I think the best thing he
like
brings is the
stretching the
is
floor.
the rebounding.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
dog at rebounding. I don't have the stats on me, but I know that there's so many times where Valanciunas just gets like some nasty amount of boards, and I feel like the team as
Can
a
be
whole.
sometimes. I parlays on Jonas Valanciunas. He always messes it up for me on rebounds.
That's the
He only gets
problem.
like 8 rebounds a game. And they honestly, I feel like a guy that would be perfect on that team. I know he does. I know Jonas Valanciunas spaces the floor a lot, but I feel like Drummond would be a cool player on the
you
Pelicans.
you always bringing up Drummond.
Drummond needs to be known. He's giving me Pistons vibes right now on rebounds. Not on offense, but on rebounds, he's giving you 15 rebounds a night.
The Pelicans are top 10 in rebounds this year.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, because they got Zion too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Zion's
saying.
vert is insane.
I feel like them together, it's like they can just, you know what I'm saying? Like they can do a lot. Like I feel like that.
Oh, okay.
Although I do agree, there's definitely better fits for this team.
Mason Plumlee.
But the
I'm throwing
spacing
more names.
definitely the spacing is definitely one of the bigger aspects because you know if you got
Yeah.
Zion on the floor, you want to be able to move out a little bit. But I don't know. I think the team just in general. I think the general team dynamic is something that I really like, and I got them as one of my dark horses. I like them. I think they're good. You know, anything else on the Pelicans?
No, I just need to put more respect on the Pelicans' name.
Yeah, I like them.
Last week I had talked about it, and it was like that. I don't know why the Pelicans. I know their games. I feel like they're gonna be able to exit, but now I think their game. I was against the Clippers. I think the Nuggets. There's a lot of teamwork down, so I need more. Ingram has. I mean, he's been the same player he's always been. But I wasn't really too familiar with his game like that. I guess he really
He's
gives me a
nice.
KD feel when he's in the mid range.
He's nice.
He just shoots and then makes it. Yeah, he's nice.
I like him. I think he's awesome. Anyways, my next dark horse, a team that the player that nobody wants to go against. From the West, I got the Mavericks.
Oh,
I got the Mavericks.
got another West.
I put another West team up there.
Heat.
Another.
I thought you're gonna throw in the Heat in the dark. Okay.
We'll get there. I can move the Heat
I
up.
like the Mavericks.
I can move the Heat up, but I don't want to say the Mavericks. Now this one, I think it's more. This is more of the
I like
matchup.
the Mavericks.
This is more of the West matchups.
Okay.
I've seen Luka cook the Clippers. Smoke them. I mean, I've seen him do it to damn near
He owns
everybody.
the Clippers.
I've seen him to do it to damn
He
near
owns the
everybody.
Clippers and the Suns.
Yes. Hopefully, and who knows? Maybe the Suns.
I hope we get a matchup.
I don't think they will, but maybe the Suns will get a higher seed,
Oh.
or they'll beat a higher seed, and then they'll end up playing the Mavs. But I think that with everyone healthy on the Mavericks team, Kyrie's playing again, Derek Lively's playing again.
Yes.
They're bad. They're coming back.
Yes.
I think that this team
they got they got PJ
Right.
and Gafford. I like how they play with them too.
They added some pieces. They added some
got
pieces.
now. I like those pieces.
You know you know what someone said? Someone said that in Gafford's first game, the Mavs home crowd, they saw Gafford fighting for an offensive rebound and they gave him a standing ovation. They were like, "Oh my god, he's hustling
because Luka doesn't have to do it anymore.
He's trying.
Luka doesn't have to do everything.
Someone on this team is trying. He's doing something." So, like I said, with those additions, with everyone getting healthy, you still have Luka. I like this team. I think this team is scary. You don't want to play this team. I mean, they're edging on the play-in. I think that they'll get out. I mean, I don't think they're actually even going to
get out of it.
I don't even think they're going to have to do a play-in game, personally. I think that if everyone stays healthy, they'll win enough games. It's close. It's a close race anyways, but
the Suns, the Pelicans, the Mavs, and the Kings are really close right now in their standings.
Right.
So it all could flip up and flop.
Exactly.
So who knows?
Exactly. So I like the Mavs. I think that I like what the front office did in the trade deadline. I like they just got some pieces that can be helpful to Luka, just generally speaking. So I'm with it. I think it's a good team. That's really all I got for them.
I mean, the Mavs. It's funny how you said that they did give us standing ovation. I'm out.
Wait, hold on.
One
What'd you say?
time me and went
No,
to
what'd you say? What'd you say?
Disneyland, right? And we stayed at me and my girl we Disneyland. Like while we were at Disneyland, like before we went to Disneyland, at her aunt's house. And
Mm-hmm.
basically the night before we went to Disneyland, we were watching NBA games, and they were telling me like who's her uncle's favorite player,
Okay.
and her uncle's favorite player was like Isaiah Hardenstein, and it's just the way how he plays as a center.
That's
It
crazy.
is just so goofy. And so we watched the Mavs game, and I forgot what center it was from the Mavs, but it's not. It's not. This was before the PJ Washington Gafford trade, and we were watching a center just look at the ball going to like on the rim, and it would just bounce, and it would just stare at it, not even try to get it.
Yeah.
It would just go everywhere, and he's like, just watch him. He's like, oh, I got a new favorite player on that team, and we're just watching that player the whole entire highlights of the game. And he's just, what does he even do? I'm like, he was a starting center for that Mavs team forever. I think it's either uh Dwight Powell or like Maxi Kleber. It's one of those two guys.
That makes sense.
And it's
Yeah.
like they don't hustle, they don't do anything. All they do is stand there and get their cardio up. Like they probably do get points, they probably do get rebounds, but after watching like three Mavs highlight games of watching them play, it's just like, what do they even do?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So that makes sense why they're giving him a standing ovation, because they actually have guys that could be
Yep.
hustlers who could be dogs.
Yep.
But Luca really needs on his team.
Maybe we
They need
might.
to trade those guys that I mentioned.
Hey, man. Mavericks versus Timberwolves. Make it happen. Make it happen.
Shoot.
All right, my next dark horse, the one that I didn't even know if they actually count as a dark horse because everyone has them there. Miami Heat. Everyone
I mean,
knows.
they're low seeded.
Everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows that no matter what seed they are, you don't want to play them. We all know it. It doesn't even need to be. They need no introduction. Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra. I mean, they added Terry
Yep.
Rozier.
Terry.
They added Scary Terry. So he's good. They gotta get healthy. They got some injuries. But if they make it in the playoffs, you don't want to play them. That's really all we gotta say. I mean, we know enough about them.
No.
Yeah, we could just we can keep it pushing. Nothing else needs to be said about that team. I'm put the Kings up there though in the dark horses. I'm put the Kings up there now. Out of all the ones in the dark horses, this is definitely the one where I'm most like. This is the least confident I am in a team to win their series. 'Cause I feel like the court's still kind of out on Sabonis. I think he's good. Do I think he's gonna match up well against all these other West teams? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I saw this man get bodied by Kevon Looney, so I have my hesitations. But I think Fox showed that he's a playoff performer. He can play well under pressure. I mean, they went to 7
They
with the
went
Warriors
7.
last year and just got
Yeah.
curried. I mean, like it was almost like Curry just wasn't going to lose that game. But now they have good playoff experience under their belt. They could maybe I don't. They're definitely not as high as seeds as last year. But they have a playoff series. They have more experience. I think there's a chance that Fox and Sabonis get hot, and beat they could beat one of these other young West teams. I don't think the odds of it are very high, but depending on the matchup, depending on what happens, I could see it. So I got them in dark horses, but I wouldn't mind putting them in first round exit. Yeah, that's all.
I'm not a huge fan of it. That's just me.
No, I get it. Like I said, this is the one I'm like least confident in out of these dark horses.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't put a team that's been to the finals already. Or yeah, actually, there's two teams that have been to the finals, but one of them's dysfunctional right now. One's coming up. It's okay. I'm not mad at your list. Everything has been 100% right, and I would believe in that list. Kings is just the one that's that 1%. If I dropped it down to 99,
Well, if
I'm not
we're
mad
here
at
to
it.
appease you. If I was gonna switch them with anybody, it's the team that's right here. The first round,
Okay, thank God.
the first team of the first round exit slash play in, because they do have to beat. I think they'll beat the Warriors, and then they got to beat the Mavs, the Pelicans, the Suns, or the Kings, whoever it happens to be. We don't know. Whoever it happens to be. I think that if they are the eighth seed, I would put them in dark horses. Whoever it would be,
Okay,
whoever it would be, whether the Kings drop out, the Mavs, whoever, I would put the Lakers. I would just move the Lakers into dark horses. But looking at it right now, I the team. I don't know how I feel about the team. We all know there's holes. They didn't do anything over the break. They added what they added. Dinwiddie didn't. I don't.
I think the holes are filled.
What else?
Honestly, I feel like the holes are filled. I think the hole is the injuries and Gabe Vincent hole. Like I said about how they keep taking in Heat players that played in their finals games, like Chris Nunn, and now they have Gabe Vincent, and they for some reason both have to be injured. But I feel like once everyone's healthy, I think they can get it going. Everyone's playing great right now. They're showing a lot, and they're still positive. They're not negative. It's just the West is too competitive.
The West is pretty crazy. Yeah. Like I said, whoever the second team to make it out of the play-in is going to be
There's nothing to say.
the last dark horse, because whoever gets
Nobody
there
is.
is the most in form. Whether even if it is the Warriors, I don't think it will be. But even if it is the Warriors that makes
Uh,
it out of the play-in, I think it's because they'll be the most in form out of whoever was there. So that spot's pretty open. That's just what I have right now, because I feel like it's more possible for the Kings to get out of the play-in than for like to get out of even having to do a play-in than them having to beat the Lakers or whoever it is. Because the Lakers, I'm pretty sure, I don't think they're going to be able to. I think they're going to have to play a play-in game no matter what. That's why I have them there,
yeah.
just because generally speaking, they're probably going to have to play one. So just as it stands right now, I'm sticking with Lakers losing in the first round or as a play-in, and then dark horse is the Kings. Like I said, subject to change. This is right after the All-Star break. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows what'll happen? Uh, my next team, Magic. I like the team. I think they're cool. I don't really think they have that much of a chance against the other East top seeds, though. I don't think the team
No,
just isn't good enough.
no chance.
The team just isn't good enough. I like the players. I like the way the team is built for now. I think it's cool. I think they're deserving of this playoff spot, but I don't see them doing anything. The Sixers, I have here. You could switch these.
Next hit.
I just assumed Joel Embiid wouldn't be playing or wouldn't be 100%, and either way that's not good for them obviously. So I just put them there. I don't really think they're going to win anything. I mean, if they had Joel Embiid, obviously is a different story, but I don't want to put faith in that, so I'm just giving. I think they're just gonna get first round bounced. Uh, who's my next team? Warriors. Uh yeah. I mean, they have Steph Curry. That's really all I can say. They have Steph Curry.
Dysfunctional right now.
Through him, anything is possible. But like you
Yeah.
said, it's not. It doesn't look good. I don't really have faith in the team, but I don't think any of these other teams in the West are gonna take their play-in spot. I don't really want them to. I would rather watch Steph Curry versus but LeBron or the Kings or something. I would just much rather watch Steph Curry. I don't know. I don't know what to say. So hoping Steph Curry makes it into the plan. Steph Curry and the Warriors. Maybe Draymond Green can kick somebody or something. I got the Hawks. Trae Young. DeJounte Murray still there. I don't know. They're not a dark horse to me anymore. They were a couple seasons ago or whatever.
Anymore?
A couple seasons ago,
I still believe it.
the vibe of the team was different. It was a little bit more hopeful. Now it just kind of feels it's in a limbo for sure. I think it's in a limbo where everyone's talking about trading DeJounte, keeping Trey, or keeping DeJounte. Which one are you going to build around? Whatever. And now it's kind of just like, well, we're stuck perpetually in the play-in, and it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel good. And then I have the Nets. I think the Nets take the last playoff. I just did that because I was like, I don't think the Bulls are very good right now. Zach LaVine's out. I mean, I don't know. Kobe White's cool. I like Kobe White. But I don't know. I think the Nets team's cool. They added D. Schroed. Mikal Bridges is still
Oh
cool.
yeah, I forgot about that.
I think they're decently behind the Bulls in games. I mean,
Kind of.
it doesn't really matter to me who the 10th seed in the East is. I don't I don't really care. Whoever wins isn't going anywhere anyways. But I did want to just put the Nets over the Bulls just because I thought that I liked the Nets team a little better right now. I like Nick Claxton.
Okay.
I like Nick Claxton too. Yeah, that's my list. This is my full list. My favorite, once again, Denver Nuggets going to repeat. All right, we can throw. I'm gonna throw yours together, your updated one together, so people can see it. And then, as I'm throwing things up, you could talk about it. Talk about whatever.
I feel like there's not that much discuss.
Hey, I was just say if there's anything you got, anything else we haven't mentioned or something like that, we could do it. But let me just get it down so people can
The
see
only
it.
okay.
I'll start from the top. So are the Celtics your favorite to win it all?
I feel like they have they're like they have a good starting lineup and they got a good bench. I feel like they have the best. I feel like the Clippers actually have the best starting lineup and the best bench in the NBA. To be honest, that's just my picks. Refix this list. I'd go the same way with the Bucks and the Wolves.
Oh, you want me to add the tier below?
If you want to.
Oh, we can do that.
But I mean the biggest difference that we both have is you have Knicks at Contenders.
Yeah.
I have them as first round exits.
Why
That's because
why don't you like the Knicks?
I had them as a matchup too. Like I was doing matchups with the teams and who would they play against.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I wasn't rooting for the Knicks all the way just because I don't know how they can execute and how long Julius Randle's gonna be out. How long Mitchell Robinson's gonna be out.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about right now.
Okay.
But maybe they could be in the second round. I'm not discrediting the Knicks too much. I know what they could do. I know they're a special team.
Yeah.
But I feel like they could probably go second round.
Yeah, before we walk it out, one thing I want to say about the Nuggets, their defensive rating is also identical to last year's. So I know that defensive rating isn't everything. I just wanted to check how the team was generally doing, a general idea of how they were doing without Bruce Brown. Their ratings are pretty much identical to last year's, which is really interesting. And then the dream matchups I have for the playoffs, I want the Celtics and the Heat again. I
have that.
I want the Bucks against the 76ers.
Okay.
I need the Doc Rivers versus Sixers narrative. Knicks versus Pacers, it would be an absolute banger. I want Suns Thunder. I want it
You
would
want
require
Suns
it would
Thunder?
require the Thunder to fall to like the fourth seed or something. But KD versus the Thunder in a whole playoff series would go crazy. Uh, I would also be fine with Sun.
I see the vision.
I would also be fine with Suns Clippers, but I mean, you know, that's that's asking a lot because we already got that last
So
year.
you had so you had Suns Thunder. What was the other ones? My bad. It just
Celtics
I'm
Heat,
look. I have the standings.
Celtics
Celtics
Heat,
Heat makes sense.
Bucks
Yeah.
Sixers, Knicks Pacers. I want the Nuggets
Okay.
to play either. Well, the Nuggets would play either the Kings or the Lakers in my scenario. I think the Lakers. They would both be interesting. I think, but we all know
Ooh.
that the Lakers one would probably have a much stronger narrative.
Okay.
And then Clippers Mavs. I need to see Luca against against the Clippers. I need to see it again. I need to see it again. I know he's like that. And then the last team
Okay.
that I didn't really care about, I was just they would just end up playing Wolves Pelicans.
Those. Yeah.
Wolves Pelicans. I think
Those teams. I don't really care.
yeah, it's kind of just like they were the leftovers. But that was like what I didn't even mention I didn't even mention Cavs Magic. That was like the leftover.
Oh yeah.
I didn't care about that one either.
I mean, we're just talking about dream matches, but I
Yeah.
don't really care about like if I leave a team out,
Yeah, yeah,
that means I don't care about you too much, or is
yeah.
the dream matchup isn't there. Like for me, like the Battle of LA
Yeah.
has to happen. I hope it happens.
That would be fun.
I want to
It could
see.
happen in the first it
I
could happen
want to
first round.
see.
It happened first round.
Yeah, it could. It could. It definitely could.
That'd be
Because they're
sick.
I don't- or if it could be the final round. It could be whatever round. I don't
Yeah.
mind it. I want to see Battle of LA in general. They don't have to go anywhere. They could just stay in the same building. I
Yeah.
want to see Luca versus Nikola Jokic. I think that would be such a fun game to watch.
I'm down. I'm
Like
excited for these
they
playoffs,
love each
man.
other, but they gotta hate each other for
That'll be
that
fun.
dream
That'll be fun.
scenario. Suns versus Thunder. I think when you said no question, a really great dream matchup.
I need to see KD against one of his faces demons. He needs to against either the Thunder or the Clippers for sure. For sure.
You, okay.
Yeah, one of the two. He needs to. That's the peak of content. It has to be one of those two. That would go
Makes
crazy.
sense.
That would go crazy.
For me, I know you said Bucks Sixers, but I would rather see the Bucks play the Pacers.
Yeah, that
Even
was the
though
other
like right
option.
now
That was the other option.
it's because that rivalry, the ball
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it
of
was one of those two for
uh,
sure. But I thought that Knicks Pacers and then Bucks Sixers would be more interesting. But Bucks
yeah,
Pacers would go
Bucks
crazy.
Sixers because of coach.
Yeah.
Because of coach.
Could you imagine if Doc loses to the Sixers?
For his own team, yeah.
Bro, that would go crazy. That would go crazy, bro. That would be
For me
hilarious.
personally, I think the Knicks and the Sixers would be the most equal matchup. We got two of the best point guards we've seen in the East go up.
That'd be
He's
interesting.
Maxi.
I just hope that
He's Maxi's proven himself this year. Brunson has proven himself this year.
yeah.
I know Brunson's not the guy, but Randall and Joe are big man of the team. They're the dynamic duos going at it at each other. It'd be insane. Um, I mean, Heat Celtics for sure. I don't know what else team. I don't know what other team I could see playing the Heat. Because I feel like if the Heat, I feel like the Bucks is over with. It's
Yeah.
the Heat know how to stop the Bucks from winning,
The
and it's
Bucks know
just
how to stop the
stopping
Bucks.
Giannis.
The Bucks know how to stop the Bucks. Fucking-
The Bucks know
it
how to
don't
stop
matter
the
who they
Bucks.
play, man. They're not gonna win. They're not going. They're not going
I want.
very far. I
I don't
promise.
know, but another dream matchup. if the Knicks don't play the Sixers for some scenario, I want the Knicks to play the Hawks.
Mm.
Or the Hawks to play the Sixers, because the Hawks own the Knicks and the Sixers from the
I
last playoffs that we seen years ago.
that would be fun.
But if the Hawks come up, that's why I have them as a dark horse. If the Hawks come up, I feel like that's the matchups I want to see. I don't care for the Magic. I don't care for the Bulls. Like I'm a fan of the Bulls, but I don't care for them right now. I want the Hawks to make it. I feel like what matchups more interesting? Maybe Cavs versus a leftover team that I did. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who
There's
the
no leftover teams. It has to be the Hawks.
the Cavs are just the
The Cavs can
leftovers.
just play anyone.
The Magic, just play the Magic. I don't even know if they're.
Yeah, I mean, if the Magic make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the West, I already finished the West. I probably left one like the Pelicans team out because I don't know. The Pelicans can play the Kings in the play-in if they want to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I see. Those are my dream matchups. I think those matchups would be also interesting. Yours with the Thunder and the Suns cannot escape my mind. That was such an
It'd be
interesting one
so
that you put up.
fire. Alright, you wanna send us out, bro?
All right, I'll send those out.
Yeah, send it out.
All right, it's been fun. No, a lot of spicy predictions. And yeah, I mean, it's been your boy PJ and my co-host Jacob.
Y'all.
And thank you for watching Hoopersole. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yes,
Leave some
sir.
comments on what you think.
Weekly podcast.
And we'll see you
Weekly. We ain't missing a damn week. Stay subscribed.
Never.
All right.
See you later.
Till next time. Peace.